Premier's having a conversation.
Health Parliamentary Showcase. But first, in acknowledging the land on which we meet, I would like to introduce Auntie Norma Ingram, Aboriginal Elder, Chairperson of Wyanga Aboriginal Elders Program of Redfern, to welcome us to country.
I think my knee's going on me. Budjere Gomarawa, which is welcome in the local Aboriginal language. We use the clapsticks, our hands, boomerang, throw stones to let Mother Earth know that we are approaching or that we're on her land. In this way, welcome to country is about paying homage and honouring the Mother Earth rather than creeping up on her. And one of the most important things today we're talking about is Aboriginal language. Our language, wherever we are across this country, our language comes from Mother Earth. Our language comes from nature. And so one of our elders said, if I don't use my language, Mother Earth, my Mother Earth will not hear me. So it's very important that we speak Aboriginal language. Unfortunately for some of us, we didn't learn it growing up. So my responsibility today is to welcome you to Aboriginal country. I do that with the utmost respect because Aboriginal people have been on this land for over 60,000 years, but my friends, I'm sorry, that's not my culture. We have been here for us since the dream time. We have been here since time began for us. And so we continue to be here. I want to acknowledge all Aboriginal people right across our country. We've got over 200 different Aboriginal language groups. It's not tribes, it's languages or nations. Where we are today, we're on the traditional land of the Gadigal of the Eora Nation. So right here, the Eora Nation is bounded by the Hawkesbury River to the north, then the Peene River and the Georges River. And within those boundaries, there are 29 smaller clan groups. And you can see the Gadigal here, what a paradise that was and would have been for the Gadigal. And they cared for and nurtured this land, as all of our people did across this country, since the beginning of time and since human beings were on this land. But I've got to say, human beings and the animals and the plants were all part of the same kinship system. And the kinship system to me is what binds Aboriginal culture together. Because we have to work in harmony. We have to protect Mother Earth. And if we don't, there are repercussions for that. And we only have to look at the Great Barrier Reef to see if we don't take care of the land, then disasters happen. I won't even go to talk about what's happening in America. Oh, gee, all those storms and everything over there. But Mother Earth is all of us, right, this whole entire planet. So we continue to look after land. We can continue to look after our people. And as an Aboriginal elder, and I want to acknowledge all Aboriginal elders past and present, we have a responsibility to ensure that our culture lives on. We talk about traditional in the past. That's not so, folks. It was there, but it's still, I'm part of the longest continuous practice culture on the entire planet. I'm so proud that I can say that. But I want to say to all of us Australians, as Australians, we can all be a part of that. We can all own it. It doesn't matter where you've come from, how long you've been here, how long your parents or grandparents or whatever have been here. We as Australians, we can all be a part of that. All we have to do is open up our hearts and our minds to that. But I want you to do something right now. I'm actually an Aboriginal from the local community in Redfern. But my mother's land is over the Blue Mountains, a little valley, the Lachlan Valley, Cowra. And what we do is we say Yama. So I'd like you to look around and I'd like you to say Yama to somebody, to a couple of people next to you. And even the Premier, you can say Yama. Now what that means, it's not just hello. It is hello, but it's not just hello. It's about I see you, I value you, You have a voice. Now this is particularly important for our vulnerable people in our communities. And we have many. There are people in our society, in our community, sadly to say, who walk the streets, who are in our communities, and nobody says yum or hello to them, maybe for days. And I find that very, very sad. And all we have to do is go up to somebody and say yama from the heart and really mean it. Not just a hello as we're walking through the street, but that's what it means. It means I see you, you are important. So we are here on Gadigal country, Sunrise people, Gurrawal dreaming, the whale dreaming, and they are both saltwater and we also have fresh water here. It's so important for us to know that, to understand it, and maybe just when we're in our barbecues in our own homes, just mention it to one of your folk, to one of your kinfolk, to say Aboriginal people have been here since the beginning of time and will continue to stay here. And we just want to share all of that with our Australian brothers and sisters. So wherever you come from today, I bid you welcome to Gadigal country. And I'm also really, really impressed that it's so important that our spiritual ancestors walk with you on your journey throughout your day, and I just wish you good health for you and your family. Welcome to Aboriginal country, welcome to Gadigal country. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Norma. That was really passionate and inspiring. I too would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation on whose land we meet today. And I also would like to acknowledge those of us with lived experience of mental health problems. You are the reason why the Commission was established, to improve outcomes, your life journeys, your opportunities. And I also wish to acknowledge the people who support and care for you in your journey. Importantly, I have to say a very warm welcome to the Premier and to Minister Davies. We're thrilled that you both could be here. And to all parliamentary colleagues, those from electorate offices, and ladies and gentlemen. So it is wonderful to be here on the third annual parliamentary showcase. And for those of you who may spend time in your electorate offices, hearing and learning around what's happening locally in your own communities, we're hoping that today will give you an opportunity to find out a bit more, learn something that maybe you weren't aware of, and take that back to your communities. I'm sure in your own work, issues around mental health from the people who you work closely with will come up time and time again. We know that mental health is a part of the way that our communities are facing their challenges, and there's great hope and opportunity for us all. Today really is a wonderful day to celebrate our youth. Today's theme is about youth and how we can help them have a wonderful, contributing life. But we have to remember that over half of mental health disorders start by the mid-teens, and 3/4 by the time someone is around 25. That means that around 19% of adolescents are affected by a mental health disorder, and about 27% of young adults. This is the highest rate across the lifespan. So given the importance of these years in building opportunities, friendships, networks, getting into education, something like a mental health problem can derail that. It can stop potential. And this is what we're here about. We're here about growing and identifying areas to help our young people lead their own lives that they need. And so I would like to introduce you to a young man called Chris. Chris has had his own story and his own challenges, and invite him to come up and share those with us. Thank you.
Change the world. Unfortunately, for the first 2/3 of my life, I believed the complete opposite. For the youngest of ages, I would recite to myself almost habitually, you fail at everything you do. You fail everyone you care about. How are you supposed to save the world when you can't save yourself? Later, this would be the same thing as a voice in my head would tell me. I used to dream I was a superhero. Every single night. I soon gave up on that when I was about 8, when the nut terrors, smothering OCD, and the bullying began. I don't know what came first, but it definitely spurred each other on. I was a target, but I thought I deserved it because I thought differently than other people. But I persevered and got on with my childhood because that's what kids do. At 12, I experienced a tragedy in what was my friend's suicide. She was 13. This is when I started hearing voices. After this, my high school experience became a little different. People didn't pick on me as much as I didn't let them. But this is because I would go into strong offense instead of just holding it in. This was as damaging for inside myself as it was the bullying for the outside. And these anger issues followed me into my early adult life. Aside from this, I gained a whole bunch of friends, social skills, found a new confidence to help me through my day. My family and friends were totally unaware of what was going on inside though. At 16, the voices got worse and more aggressive. I went through a breakup, my compulsions got worse, I was getting into quite violent fights, and I slipped into a deep depression. I was entering year 12 at high school and went in with high aspirations of good marks and dreams to having to do my exams and special provisions, just in case I flipped out in the middle of an exam where my skin wouldn't allow me to touch anything or the voices in my head got too loud. My family and friends were supportive, although I dared not tell any of them what was going on outside of the OCD and the depression. It wasn't until I was 18, I stopped seeing my psych and I began to see the light of day more and more. That opened up to some of my friends about the other stuff going on. I lost some mates, I gained some, it definitely changed things, eventually for the better. I found music at 16 and I've been singing and playing in bands since then, and it's been a really therapeutic experience. At 21, after dealing with a lot of other issues and things that had kind of spurred on the issues in the first place, I stopped hearing voices. At 21, I went to the summer camp in America. What I would think later on is my giant reset button. I could be who I wanted. I didn't have to hold anything back. I was working with kids from Chicago who were from disadvantaged neighborhoods. I remember finding out the two brothers had a towel cut in half that they went to share because the mother couldn't afford to have two towels. This opened my eyes exponentially to not only the different issues that were in that area, but how people's environments and the type of supports they have can really shape the decisions that they get the opportunity to make in their lives. I left America after 5 months feeling like I knew I had to commit myself to helping people. Although it took 3 years, a few bad jobs, a discriminatory employer, and finally managing to get well enough from OCD to get my license at 23, I found out what I was meant to do. My friend managed a drop-in centre through the organisation I work for now and told me I would be a great peer worker. I didn't even know what peer work was. 4 years later, after I've been in the Y Class program now for 3.5 years, we're an outreach service for the Blacktown LGA. We work alongside young people and trying to help them find out what they have to offer, what their dreams are, and how they can best get a handle on what they're going through. I have met dozens of inspirational people who have become my role models through their courage, tenacity, and above all their openness to wanting to ask for help, something that I know is so important if you want to grow. My teammates are my family, and I couldn't imagine the last few years without them. Managed to transform a small pilot program out of Penrith to a fully funded Y Class that was rolled out throughout the state. Through sharing my parts of my story purposefully with the young people that I work with, I find that the connection is built almost instantaneously, and then they know that I not only want to support them in their goals, aspirations, and their journey to discover who they are and who they want to become. I believe it's important to keep setting goals, and whenever you're feeling hopeless or feel like you're failing, just remember what you've already accomplished. Like myself, I'm super happy in my job. I have a wonderful family and friends. I'm going for my brown session coming through next month. I have a beautiful, caring, and understanding fiance. It makes it every day wonderful. I never thought this would be possible for me, and I strive to instill this hope into everyone I meet. We all have the potential to change the world, and we should never be thought of as being capable of anything else.
That's just wonderful, and just thank you for coming here and sharing your story in front of so many people. It's wonderful. And congratulations, getting married.
Yeah.
Excellent. Oh look, so now I'm pleased and very honoured to invite the Premier to the stage to say some words.
Thank you very much to Catherine Lara, the Mental Health Commissioner, to Minister Davies, the Minister for Mental Health, both of whom are doing an outstanding job in raising awareness and dealing with mental health issues for the community. To Norma for that wonderful welcome to country, can I also take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we stand and pay my respect to elders past and present. And to Chris, thank you for sharing. You essentially, no one else needs to speak after that, because by sharing your experience, not only have you supported destigmatising mental health issues, but shown people that can come out stronger through the other side. I'm very proud of what you've achieved personally, and I hope by hearing your story, others who are going through similar difficulties will get the strength to get help and to know that they can have very, not just fulfilling and satisfying lives, but actually helping others. So I just am so inspired by your words, and can everyone please give Chris another round of applause? Can I especially thank all of you who have showcased your mental health services and opportunities here today, because we know that all of us are touched by mental health issues in some way, either directly or through loved ones. And it's so important for all of us to know that support is available. And I'm so proud of the fact that in the last decade or so, mental health issues are now being spoken about, and information and access and support is more freely available. And please rest assured that as the Premier of this great state, mental health is a priority for my government, mental health issues, and Minister Davies knows that. We are in regular conversation about what we need to do, because we all know that all of us need to do more. Whether we're a non-government organisation, an organisation providing services, or government itself, or members of the community checking up on our neighbours and each other. All of us have a role to play. And I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge my parliamentary colleagues who are here, because as parliamentary colleagues representing our communities, and I see Chris Galactus all the way up from Clarence in northern part of New South Wales, see Scott Farlow from the upper house, and I know a number of others have dropped in. But as members of Parliament, we have, someone's waving their hand up the back. Who is it? Oh, how could I miss Minister Prudegaard, Minister for Family and Community Services and Minister for Women. Thank you for your attendance. But all of us know, especially as members of Parliament, that we have an enormous responsibility to support constituents, people who walk through our doors, with issues that we can support them with, and raising awareness, being able to refer people to help. And that's what today's showcase is all about. On World Mental Health Day, it's an opportunity for us to share the services and opportunities and experiences we have, and most importantly to say that whether you have a broken arm or a mental health issue, we have to treat you all in the same way, and that is really important. And by having really courageous people like Chris share their stories, really gives hope and inspiration to many others to say it's okay to talk about your experience, but also to come out of it stronger and brighter. So thank you very much for having me here today. The honour and pleasure is all mine. I also want to acknowledge the young band we're about to hear from, the performers, who've had some challenging experiences, but now they're here entertaining us. And thank you very much for being here. It's wonderful to be in your presence. And thank you to all of you who, by your presence, are promoting the importance of dealing with mental health issues, but also providing services, information and support to all of us, because it's an issue that affects every single citizen of our state. There is nobody who is not touched by mental health issues, and anybody who tells you otherwise is not telling you the truth, and that is a fact. So thank you for what you do, and please keep doing it, because as time moves on, we are getting better at talking about it, at dealing with it, and supporting each other on these important issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Premier Batisborough Jickling. It's certainly an incredible honour to serve with you in this state, to work together with our colleagues to really not only raise the profile of mental health and mental illness and distress, but to actually charge forward with creating New South Wales as literally the best place to live, to work, to raise a family and to build businesses and to flourish. And so I want to thank you very much for coming today, your very busy schedule. Also thank you to Chris. Your words are truly inspirational, because not only is Chris's story powerful for Chris himself, but by sharing his story, he actually paints the picture for other people who are yet to get to the other side of that mental distress, to experience all that life can offer for people struggling with mental illness. So your story is powerful to those people who are yet to actually begin the recovery journey. So I want to say thank you for your bravery, your courage, your resilience to continue to persist and find a way forward so you can actually begin to flourish in your own life. Thank you all to everyone here for your time to highlight and to find out the information that is available to your communities and to your families and to yourself. This is just a small sample of what is available to help our community who may be struggling with mental illness. That can be a lifelong condition, or it can be a transitory experience. But I want to ensure that everyone leaves today knowing that there is a vast array of services, of information, of people that are there to help people who are experiencing that concern. And also we want to highlight that there is some fantastic new innovative programs which are on its way. And today on World Mental Health Day, it's a wonderful opportunity to stop and pause and to highlight these fantastic programs which have been successful in the New South Wales Government's Innovation Fund for Mental Health. And so I'm very pleased to announce that there are 6 programs that will be sharing in $1.26 million, which is a part of this Mental Health Innovation Fund. And it's wonderful that a number of these programs are actually focused on the focus of today, World Mental Health Day, which is around youth. And so we are announcing today that the 6 successful applicants are Karitani in Southwestern Sydney LHD, the Blue Knot Foundation, Yeren Aboriginal Services and Central Coast LHD, Flourish, 3DN and South Eastern Sydney LHD, and the Black Dog Institute. And I also just want to highlight Karitani today, who have been leaders in youth mental health since 1923. This not-for-profit organisation provides services that range from new parent support around sleep and settling to toddler behaviour, as well as postnatal depression and anxiety. So this funding contribution will help improve early childhood and parental mental health outcomes for families right across New South Wales. And it's important that we highlight Karitani because it aligns so well with the theme of World Mental Health Day, which is about young people. And we've heard from Commissioner Lowry how that mental health illness and distress begins to really emerge around that mid-teens. This is a really important synergy that we're announcing today. So we need to rethink how we deliver mental health care right across this state. And we need to get more innovative, more creative. We need to get more at the grassroots of every unique community right across this great state of ours. So I want to say thank you so much for being here today. Please take full advantage of the free barbecue. I don't want to have to take that home to feed the family. And so thank you very much for being here. I'm really, really pleased now that we're going to see and hear an example of how innovation is important in mental health recovery, how innovation is critical to enable people who may have some bad experiences, help them express and basically get out that negative experience and deal with it outside of their own body, their own mind. And we're going to hear from a fantastic ensemble group, but also there's some artistic work down at the back from the Benevolent Society, which also talks about and shows how expression and creativity are really important players in helping people recover and be commencing and continuing on their mental health recovery. So these young musicians are about to play some fantastic music for us. They are part of a project called In Our Times, a musical odyssey, and it's initiated by the New South Wales Service for the Treatment and Rehabilitation of Torture and Trauma Survivors. And in this program, teachers and students from the Conservatorium of Music High School, they mentor young refugees to create a musical journey. So today's group hails from Cabramatta High School. So please put your hands together for a musical odyssey.